Okay.
Please go ahead.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you for that opportunity, Mr. Chairman. Ms. Shane, is there a particular section of the code that has anything to do with the candidate that it would be illegal or unethical for a candidate to run for office or to seek election office if they have a parent that is an elected official? I can see, I want to try to see what's the nexus in terms of my involvement in I mean, she's my daughter, and if I wasn't elected as a chairperson, I mean, as a county council member, I would still be helping my daughter in running for election, whether I'm elected or not. So is there something in there that maybe I'm not aware of that state that I cannot help my daughter in her campaign?
To answer your question, there is no specific provision, but I think what the board is looking at is your role in the election process, not specifically your daughter's campaign, but what is your role in the election process and whether or not that has any type of influence, I guess, over our campaign.
But the chairman has asked me several times about my daughters and my daughter's campaign, so obviously there's something there that either he feels or the board feels that there's an issue there. So I just wanted that clarified, because had the chairman not asked that, I think he asked that about 3 times about my daughter. So that's what I'm trying to ascertain. What is it exactly that?
Well, to echo what the council said is, being the county council chairman and oversight of the Office of Elections through the county clerk's office, there is potential for a conflict of interest, and that's what we're trying to get to the bottom of. And I'm sorry you feel that you stated publicly that this is a silly distraction, but really all we're trying to do is to preserve the integrity of the democratic process in the best interest of the County of Hawaii voters, so that they have some shred of faith that their vote does count without being unduly tampered or messed with in a way that might be a conflict. So what we're trying to get to is bottom of your role, oversight of the County of Hawaii Office of Elections, and if there's any conflict in your involvement with your daughter's campaign. It's more so your duties as council chair and oversight of the elections office that we're concerned with. Does that answer your question?
Can I make a couple more comments if you don't mind?
Well, does that
No, thank you.
answer your question?
Yeah, it does.
Okay.
I appreciate your comments, Mr. Dill. It's just that, you know, when you have a situation like this, which obviously is going to be covered by the press, and a decision has been made to move forward, as a person that certainly has a stake in this, you know, I just want to get more clarification as to why. Hopefully you're not offended by my questions. I just want to make sure that I understand why is it that the board is asking to move forward. If you want some clarification in regards to anything to do with my role with the elections, I'd be very happy to answer those questions for you. But I just wanted to make sure that when I leave today, at the very least, you know, what we do ascertain as part of the record is when you take a look at what was brought forward as a complaint by the state election office, or at least a pass-through by the state election office, it talks about myself being a precinct official, you know, serving in that role, in that capacity. I want to make sure that that is completely stricken. That's number one. You know, number two, because he asked me several times in regards to my relationship, my role with my daughter and her running for office. I just want to make absolutely clear that you know, as far as my role as council person, or my role in dealing with elections, has absolutely nothing to do.
So what you just said in terms of having a stake in this election, you're now saying you don't have a stake. You can have her read back the minutes, but you're talking about having the press here and having a stake in this election.
Well, as a person that's being complained about, I mean, it's my name on the docket, right?
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, Mr. Chair, can I just interrupt just so that,
Sure.
you know, Mr. Yunong actually brought up a good point in that actually there hasn't been a decision made as to what the board is going to do. So I think he said, you know, you guys have decided to move forward, and there has not, that decision has not been made if the board were to initiate its own investigation or hold an informal hearing, your rules require the board to agree on that, and then a resolution has to be drafted so that the nature and scope of the informal hearing or the investigation is limited and everybody knows what it's about. So, you know, so it's clear. Nothing, as I hear, has been decided, and so.
Yeah, thank you for clarifying that.
I'm sorry, I thought I heard the chair say that they were going to move forward with a resolution, craft a resolution. Mary, did he not say that? I thought that's what I heard earlier.
Anyway, no, we haven't voted on anything, Mr. Yagong, yet. What I did say is that I asked council to draft a resolution for discussion and for a vote today. Okay? And what the draft resolution, which hasn't been voted on or decided on, essentially approves this board to move forward with an informal investigation to determine what your actions are, what your role is for the County of Hawaii Office of Elections. And as the draft reads, also to identify or determine whether or not, with respect to your role of the County of Hawaii Office of Elections, if there are any violations of the County of Hawaii Code of Ethics, specifically sections 2-83 and 2-84.
Mr. Young, I
Yes.
think I want to sympathize.
Thank you, sir.
As you sit before us right now, you're not the average father. So you can't come up and say, I'm doing what a father has to do. You're not the average father. You happen to be the chairman of the county council. That's the other side of the coin, all right? As chairman of the county council, you have a function within the electoral system, all right? We have to check into that to see if that function in the electoral system will in any way impact upon your daughter's candidacy. You see, that's the connection, the nexus. We have to see how they interact. That's what we're looking at, the interreaction. So therefore, our viewpoint is, what is your role in the election function? Is it a figurehead role, or are you operational? That's what we have to find out. So far, I have had no discussion on that particular point.
Okay.
And that's what we have to determine. If you're functional, if you're actually operational in the election process, it may have something to do with your daughter's running for office and the candidate that's running against her, you understand? So we have to be fair to both of them. So we want to know how you can in any way impact that. And that's what we're looking for.
Okay. I appreciate that. Then, Mr. Chairman, at this time, I'd like to ask Corporation Counsel whether or not your role as a chairman is a conflict in dealing with this issue. Because I think there's a conflict that you have as chairman of the Ethics Commission, being that I'm here, you know, that I'll be here before you. And I'd like to have the Corporation Counsel make a determination if the chairman in dealing with this issue with me would be a conflict. And
Mr. Yvonne, if you want to elaborate further, but I don't, at this point, see a conflict. This board is, the members are nominated by the mayor, approved by the council. They're empowered to interpret the code of ethics, to provide opinions to officers and employees. So I guess I don't understand.
then I'll elaborate. The reason I think that there may be a conflict with Mr. Dale in dealing with an issue before this body, because because he is the chairman of the Ethics Commission, and whom I respect, by the way. But I think that there is a conflict in due to the fact that when my office had an opening for an employee to work, you know, we placed an ad in the paper for an employee to work for my office. Mr. John Dale, as chairman of the Ethics Commission, called my office, called me up personally to ask me to hire his brother.